Henry to stage a repeat. Match commentator Archie McPherson.
Paisley, I may say, has made a remarkable recovery from feeling like downtown Vladivostok this morning. The Siberian weather has relented very slightly, and thanks to a massive sort of duvet placed on the pitch overnight, it is eminently playable. It's not perfect, but certainly playable. Well, St Mirren have come through a turbulent period, and now new manager Tom Henry places his trust on that traditional blend of youth and experience. And I think he's particularly well blessed in that former category in young Stephen McGarry, who's played for Scotland under 17, under 18 and under 21. And he is one of the golden prospects for the future. This is a test of the resilience and the squad depth of Hibs, because they've had a great look about them recently, and now are minus the core of their defence. Derek Collins, Paul Levering and John Hughes are all out. Smith and Elliott come in as replacements, and enjoying a real renaissance in the First Division, Pat McGinley, top scorer with 11 goals this season, coming from midfield to great effect. Kevin Turner must have taken up this business because his father, as a player, made life so easy for referees. For Willie Turner, his father, that excellent player, was never sent off in his entire career. A brilliantly sunny day here at Love Street, and brilliant prospects for Hibs at the moment. They brought a huge support with them, something like 3,500 to 4,000. It's amazing. And the Hibs support trying to become accustomed to the culture of supremacy that now surrounds Easter Road in the First Division. Life without the fear of relegation can be so sweet. I'd like to see on the pitch there, just the bottom of the picture there, the kind of frosty surface in one or two parts of the ground. Well, I don't think he was at all confident with that, and Patalainen in an offside position, and McGinley, with a presence of mind, saw the goalkeeper coming out of his goal, but unfortunately Patalainen hadn't got back quickly enough. Offside. Tom Henry right in the middle there. Came from teaching maths in an Edinburgh school into an area where the chaos theory, I think, is uppermost. Picked up easily by Turner, Tommy Turner, one of the veterans of the game. Nice slip there. Mendes did very well. He's looking dangerous inside here. O'Brien tried to pick it up. Well, the man from Portugal might not fancy the weather or the surface, but he looked very sure-footed here, and I think the very fact that it's cold is energizing him, and he did very well there as O'Brien couldn't get a decent shot in as Hibs backtracked very quickly. Adelaide in, a little bit slow coming for it. Elliott going on the outside. Oh, he went inside very well from Latapi there. In goes the Caribbean player with a little bit of skid in that ball, and I think wasn't entirely sure of his footing as he drove in towards goal. But a good intention, and I think you see there a little cameo of how useful this player is going to be to Hibs. Nicely brought down there by Crawford. Caught in two minds, unfortunately. Should be picked up, and is beautifully by Lovell. I think there's going to be a booking here. Hugh Murray coming back to defend, going in from the back there, leaving the referee with the inevitable a booking. Well, the referee has already sent off in a previous game a couple of St Mirren players. Justin Skinner poised with Latapi. I think the little man's eager to go to the side for it. If it's touched to him, it looks like it, and it's not far away. Well, they clearly signposted that to the St Mirren defence, and yet he did get the shot round the end of the defensive wall. And I'll tell you what, that was a well-driven in shot. Look how much of the target he had remaining. Wasn't far away, although Little Roy got down to it very well. Well, I think McLeish looking a little bit pensive at the moment, a little bit strained. Picks it up beautifully and tries to turn it away. Well, McGinley typically getting in there on the end of that little run by Latapi. Warming up, if I could use that expression for a guy who looked very cold there, to the task of getting in amongst this St Mirren defence. It's just a little bit laggardly up front at the moment, not sharp enough. Mendes, that's a decent looking ball and put down inside. Oh, that's far too hard. Well, now we had two players inside. McGarry was certainly screaming for the ball inside as Murray came through. Touchdown there by Yardley. He could have gone for it himself, and he could see it would have required a superhuman effort to get on the end of that one. That's a bad pass by Dennis's first mistake in the game, picked up by Mendes. Little reverse run there that didn't quite come off, and Yardley has that taken away from his toe. Now level. Crawford turns well in that. Latapi might be a little bit adventurous. Latapi almost got away with it, and again late with a tackle, and that must be a booking. Somehow or other, one or two of these Hibs players seem to be unable to read the pace of the surge of one or two of the St Mirren players, hence the number of bookings. That's Patalainen. McQuilter going with him. He's tracked him all this game. That's not a bad ball inside. There's free kick. I think Crawford slightly embellished it, but nevertheless. Well, now I think the referee's given it the other way, and he's been booked for diving, and he's been red carded. He has been red carded. Now, as I said before, as he went down there was contact. I was saying he embellished it, but I thought ever so slightly. And unless something was also said, Hibs are now reduced to 10 men. Now, I may say, I fully commend referees for being punitive on players who play act. I'm quite sure Andy McLeish will be delighted to get his men in at half-time. Yardley. Oh, that's not going to be struck hard enough. Latapi, has he got the pace for it? No, he doesn't. Yeah, he's indicating he wanted the ball played to foot. And the half-time whistle goes. As I said, a controversial ending to this, but if you want to see skill, you can see it in the diminutive form of Latapi, who's been, I think, the best player in those terms in the entire first half. In that controversial moment, I must admit, at the start, I thought that Crawford may have embellished his ball, but not all that much at half-time. It's nothing each. I said right at the start that this was going to be a big test for Hibs today, minus the core of their defence, but I also underrated the appetite that St Mirren had for the game. And Hibs going for the 17th unbeaten game, and now facing this tremendous handicap of that sending off, which I thought was harsh. But if you draw the line, you draw the line as a referee. I did think there was a bit of embellishment, as I said, but not all that bad. Lofted away there by Junior Mendes, that rather lazy style. Only touched by the head of Lovell. Mendes. One round the outside here, and that had to be timed to perfection, and was by Sean Dennis. And given the number of bookings we've had, that is always going to be risky, taking it from that length. A tackle, Patalainen, beautiful little touch to Latapi. He's got too many players around him. Then there's a touchback. Patalainen with a glorious goal. Oh, tremendous stuff by Hibs. The two foreigners combining, and that is a combination of skill and determination. Absolutely tremendous the way the ball went between the two of them. Look at this little touch. Back in again after the defenders had all been drawn across. Now, he had a tremendous amount of work still to do here. A very narrow aperture, difficult angle, and he makes that huge hip support. Delighted. The 10 men have struck quickly. After exactly 6 minutes, they're 1 up. I don't know how much Hibs are paying this man, but given what I know is being paid for others in this business, he's worth a few pounds, that's for sure. Look of determination about O'Brien, and they're just taken there. Just for a moment I thought the Hibs goalkeeper, Carlson, was looking a little bit slow and going up for it, and then he did get there. Well, he's learning the harsh realities of footballing life, Tom Henry, in the middle of the picture there. His team have had a lot of the ball, not really tested the Hibs goalkeeper, and now they're a goal behind against 10 men. Put away by the youngster Dempsey. Latapi. Once home scoring 3 goals for Boavista, Latapi. There's another drive in it. A superb save this time by the teenage Ludovic Roy. Oh, this big man can make something out of nothing. As I said, his touches turned lead to gold for Hibs, and there, that time, the French goalkeeper, the equal of it, and I like the way the youngster got down and made sure with that tremendous grip. Look, Walter, he's venturing forward. He better be very, very careful, knowing what Patalainen can do down the middle. Good play by Mendes again, and that's the best effort of Jerry Craney. Coming into the near post, and he scored many a goal in his day, Craney. For Celtic like this, coming in there and just getting underneath it. Looking down in the gloom of our little position here, if I can read this, as I make it about 9 minutes to go, and they both realize it now. Positive one there by McGinley. Referee says play on, and there's a lovely ball. Yes, a great goal. The substitute Hartley, and that signs, seals, and delivers it. We've had 2 superb goals from Hibs today, and a youngster coming up there read that so well. Now, it started off as the ball looked as if the referee might stop the play, but very good decision by him. He allowed it to go on. A superb ball in there, and look, the first touch glided away with an angle that maths teacher and the dugout would have appreciated. Oh, there we are. He's giving his side, I think, now 6 out of 10. Hibs now strutting their wares. That's a very good run by this place. Since he's come on, it's been intelligent. Oh, that's almost an own goal. He would not have deserved to put it in, because I think he's been superb today, Ronnie McQuilter, the man who used to play with Joe Jordan. And Joe Jordan used to make misses like that as well, I hasten to add. That's a beautiful ball put through to Brown. Somebody has to be inside him. And it's in. The ball eventually getting through there. And I think St Mirren may have left that a little bit late. But the ball cut across there, and there might have been that little deflection, but it came off there as Kerr got the touch. There he is. I think he realizes he's got a slight chance here. We're now into stoppage time. Mendes, the 10 men still battling now. Smith plays it out. But the ball has got to be played cleanly to one of the front runners. And the youngster comes away with it. He did very well there. Mark Dempsey come through this ordeal with flying colours. Playing in a depleted side, he's looked very mature indeed. Pass to go. McGinley going in hard. He's got to watch. He's been booked. There's the ball played to the outside. Just driven away, and eventually, I think the flag was up on the far side. Yes, it was. A tremendous welter of action towards the end of this game. All they want to do now is keep possession, Hibs. Keep that ball away. And Patalainen, then there's another man booked. Had to put his leg in, and the final whistle goes. You can hear the roar from that big Hibs support away to our right-hand side. Not only appreciating the fight of the 10-man side, but the quality of the goals. And can I say immediately that this game is as good as many I've seen in the Premier Division all season. It's a credit to the league, credit to Hibs, and a credit to the players. A game marred by the sending off of Stevie Crawford. We will still, I suppose, question the severity of it, but the referee, as I said, had made his mark on the game from early on. The final score, St Mirren 1, Hibs 2.
All credit to St Mirren. They pressurized us really well, and they were on their toes and looked really sharp, and didn't give us any time, so they put us under so much pressure, and they had the better first half, but amazingly, you know, with only 10 men in our team, you know, we managed to turn that in the second half.
It looked in the second half, though, that you were the team with 11 men.
Yeah, well, we countered St Mirren, and we countered them quite well, and countered them intelligently. Russell Latipe was a real good out for us. He's holding up to the ball and his trickery. And of course, Mix has scored an inspirational goal. It's out of nothing, really. So, you know, sometimes you need that bit of inspiration, and he provided it today.
We're not a million miles away as we are. We showed today that, you know, we can drop this word potential. Potential's finished. We've got good young players. They're good players. They happen to be young, but they're good players.
Yeah, Gordon Dalziel watching that match with me here in the studio tonight. Gordon, I think we both have to agree with Archie's assessment. It was a great advert for the First Division.
Yeah, watching it tonight, I thought it was a great advert for the First Division, especially in the Premier League on holiday just now. It was a great showing from Hibs and St Mirren. Good football played, but St Mirren very unlucky, but Hibs just shown again why they're top of the league. Jim.
What I have to ask you is, are Hibs going to run away with it now, because everything worked for them yesterday, points-wise?
Well, to be fair to them, they're in a very strong position. They've got good strength and depth in their squad. They were without three of their back four yesterday, if you look at that, and they still go to a very difficult place, and they come away with the 3 points with 10 men. Yeah, they were down to 10 men at half-time. Let's have a look at the 3 goals in this match, starting with this first Hibs goal, Gordon, and it's great work here by Latipe. Yeah, if you see this, here's a fantastic run, what a ball, and if you see Patalainen's first touch, he takes it with his right and fires it home with his left. Fantastic goal. There it is again, touch with the right foot, head down, fires it into the bottom corner. Fantastic start. I think Patalainen's been their main player.
He's done that with so many clubs as well, and here's another cracking finish, this time from the substitute Hartley.
That's right, if you watch it again, Patalainen's involved, holds it up, gives it to McGinley, who fires in a great ball. Hartley times his run, that'll do his confidence all the world of good from coming from Raith Rovers in a big money move.
Yeah, St Mirren did manage to pull one back before the end. It was a good run here from Tom Brown.
Well, that's the experience of Tom. Fantastic run. Kerr gets a wee bit of help off the defender there, and it sets up for a good 2 minutes left, 3 minutes left.
Yeah, and as Tom Henry was saying on the interview there, Gordon, he doesn't think he's too far away.
Well, he's come in with his fresh ideas. He's done very well at Alloa. He's very knowledgeable. His tactics are good. he's brought back Mendes and loan and Turner and loan and says, you know, it's a fresh, clean sweep, and it's up to them to get themselves in the team and keep playing well. I'm sure he'll work very hard at it because that's the sort of lad he is, and I'm sure he'll see St Mirren improving.
Now, what we thought might have been the turning point in this match was the sending off for Steve Crawford. It's a second yellow card. We have to say the referee clearly thinks he's dived here. How would you assess it?
Well, to be fair, Jim, I'm going to sit in the fence here. I think if 18-yard box was a swimming pool, they'd get 9.8 for that. I think that it's a bit of, you know, if Stevie's went for it, lads definitely come across him, but knowing Stevie the way I know him, he's not a diver, but, you know, the referees took the obviously second yellow card and he had to go up.
To be fair, he's been nudged, so maybe if he'd just gone down where he was pushed, he might have got a free kick.
Well, I'm sure if he was going to the bar on a Saturday night and somebody pushed him, he wouldn't have down as quick as that. So I'm with the referee here. Sorry, Stevie.
OK, well, there's another incident in this match which I think we can have a look at now, concerning the Hibernian manager, Alec McLeish. Now, he's clearly upset about a decision here, and the ball ends up back with him. He does a bit of keepy-uppy, and then blooters it into the stand roof. And I'm afraid, as far as he's concerned, the referee isn't very happy with that. The referee walks over to him. Alec can see the funny side. The referee obviously can't. And Gordon, surely there's room for a bit of a laugh in the game.
To be fair, Jim, I think that's Alex keep up the record away now. And that one he fired into the roof, I think that was a pass. You see it there.
It must be great being a Hibs fan these days at Easter Road. It was the highest crowd of the day in Scotland, and Alex McLeish has turned them into a formidable force. Hamilton, in fact, were unbeaten against Hibs before this game, but the odds were firmly stacked against them. Just 11 minutes in and Gary Wales had the ball in the net, but no celebrations on this occasion. Hibs were going for 9 in a row, wins that is, and the first time it's been done since 1949, when the famous 5 ruled. Russell Latapy could have started the goal charge there. Hamilton needed 11 men to try and frustrate Hibs, and when Justin Skinner tried to shackle Ian Macaulay, his response was Beckham-like. Hugh Dallas was in line, and that took a bit of spice out of Hamilton's game. Justin Skinner doing some shoving, but Macaulay retaliates and gets the red card. Barry Lavetti, who came back in for the suspended Stevie Crawford, was eager to please. His cross confuses the Accies defence, and Skinner teed it up for Pat McGinley. Hibs, with their one-man advantage, were gradually building up to their demolition job. Skinner's free kick, Patalainen and McGinley missing out. Just before the half-time break came the sucker punch, and the Hibs fans, over 10,000 of them, got some Mixu magic. He's done it before on the Scottish stage, and is helping to catapult Hibs back into the Premier League. A powerful header, and the first of 4 goals yesterday. His height certainly an advantage on that occasion, and it's party time for the Hibs fans. And into the second half, it was almost goal number 2 of the game. But the linesman ruled Patalainen's header was offside. And then Patalainen, who'd already scored and was enjoying a great game, with a little help from Russell Latapy, was denied again. So Hibs were determined to capitalise on their earlier lead, and Latapy was again a key man, only to be stopped by the keeper, and then the underside of the bar. Now you're thinking what I'm thinking. Hamilton's lives are running out. This perfectly timed ball. Mixu waits, pounces, and just makes sure. 2 for Mixu in this match, and Hibs fans are greedy people these days. Less than 3 or 4 goals in a game, and they're not happy. Action-packed and still more to enjoy, and Hibs were keen to scare the living daylights out of Hamilton, and Lavetti had the view to kill off the game. Colin Miller could thank his keeper for touching it away. Lavetti wanted to keep Stevie Crawford out for a while, so he decided to add a third. And great composure from Lavetti. He'll be happy to pick up a win bonus. So 3-0 down, 10 men. Could it get any worse? Well, yes it can. And if Gary Wales is watching tonight, then he contributed to a horror tackle. Lunging at Lovering here, upending him, and thankfully the Hibs defender survived from that tackle, and the red card justified. On the 90th minute, Pat McGinley gained his reward for a great game with a goal, number 4 of the match, and his 12th of the season. Would Jimmy Hill have called that a toe poke? For Hamilton fans, please don't have nightmares.
Everybody's in the recent years have talked about 9 in a row. You've got 9 in a row now.
No, it's nice to have 9 in a row. Obviously, somebody says in the paper this morning it's the same as the famous 5. So if we can emulate them, it would be an absolute thrill for everybody.
And there's how the First Division table stands tonight after that result. Hibernian 56 points, 14 points clear of Falkirk now. Alec McLeish with us here in the studio. You're not fed up winning?
Never get fed up winning, Jim. No, it's nice. It's a nice feeling, and a couple of good goals by the big lad we signed for Wolverhampton. I can't remember his name.
Can't remember his name. Mixu, I think it is.
Yeah, no, it's a great contribution by the lads over this period of time. Tried to freshen it up a little bit yesterday. Started a wee bit slow, I felt, but we went on to thoroughly dominate again, totally dominate.
Let's have a look at Patalainen, Alec, because I know that there's a lot of commentators speculating as to whether the team you have now will hold their own in the Premier Division. That's actually the sending off we're seeing at the moment. Don't know why that is.
There's a little Beckham-like back healer there from my colleague, Justin, just upset him
this is
a wee
the
bit late.
second sending off.
Gary Wales, the smashing game actually, the kid, and a wee bit disappointing that tackle, and I'm sure he'll be disappointed by it himself.
Yeah, Hamilton reduced to 9 men, and that obviously wouldn't have helped their cause, Graham.
No, and you know, I suppose late in the game when they're chasing a cause, he makes a lunge like that, but it was a foolish challenge.
Yeah. As I was saying, Alec, Mixu Patalainen. Now, there's a lot of people speculating as to whether your team is strong enough once you go up to hold your own. Patalainen's obviously the kind of player that you want in your team, and you've got him signed for 3 years, haven't you?
Yeah, you know, this seems to be the question in the media now. You know, at the beginning of the season, were we good enough to even win the division? Because we did stutter and the form wasn't good, it was patchy. Now we've got a pretty good lead. You see Mixer's goal, it's out well. And, you know, now they're asking questions again, are we good enough for the Premier League? I think the guys are good enough for the Premier League. Now, it still doesn't stop me trying to add to the quality of the squad. We're talking about the Premier League as if the quality is absolutely wonderful, which I don't really think it is.
Is it a case, Alec, that you can strengthen at the moment, or will you wait till the summer?
Continue to try to strengthen within the means just now, but it will mean, unfortunately, that some players will have to leave. You know, we've got Paul Tosh on loan at Partick Thistle, by all accounts doing very well. Now, Paul knows that if he finds a club he can leave, and there's 1 or 2 others in the same category.
Okay, Alec, well done yesterday. Another victory for...
And high-flying Hibs had their wings clipped earlier this week when they crashed out of the Scottish Cup at the hands of Stirling after a replay. They almost had the opportunity to take an early lead when the pass-back rule was broken. Russell Latterby unlucky with that effort. The leaders finally took the lead against relegation candidate Stranraer when Stevie Crawford caught their opponent's defence napping, and he managed his 9th league goal of the season. 3 Hibs players now vying for the top scorer spot at the club, and he sent Hibs 2-0 up after Lovering's pass for goal number 10 of the campaign and Hibs' 11th successive league win, achieving club record. So Hibs on the up, unfortunately for Stranraer, on the slide. And Crawford almost added his 3rd, Paul Hartley making the run. And his shot only needed a touch from the ex-Wraith Rovers man to complete his hat-trick. But Hibs recovered well from the cup exit.
Night, but we were disappointed for the fans as well as the players. But we knew getting 3 points today again and making sure that we keep this lead at the top of the First Division to get back in the Premier was
One thing about Hibs this season is the fact they don't really look like losing matches. Alex McLeish brought in Frank Sosi and Alex Mirren to make their debuts, and he's assembled a pool strong enough to survive in the Premier League. Hibs were determined to make an early impact, and Russell Latapi's trickery and Pat McGinley's positioning caused problems for the home defence. Kevin James almost conceding a penalty. Stevie Crawford is maturing into a real predator in Scottish football, and there's a tussle for the top scorer spot between the ex-Wraithman and teammates Pat McGinley and Paatelainen. Great pace, but the keeper committing himself and keeping the scoreline blank. Russell Latapi is such a key player for Hibs, and Alex McLeish seems to be getting the best out of him this season. He's persistent, skillful, and it isn't easy to pin down. Davy Sinclair managed to cut him down in full flow with a fair tackle. Latapi is such a key player for Hibs, and with his kind of persistence, it wouldn't be long before we saw the opening goal. And the little man set up Paul Hartley. 1-0 Hibs. And for one Hibs fan, he needed a cuddle. Hartley saint turned sinner later when he was sent off. But Falkirk equalised just 3 minutes later, right back into the match, and the highly rated Marine O'Keefe, one of the division's top marksmen. Hibs, though, with a little bit of luck and a grave error from Ivo Den Beeman, won all 3 points. Hibs destined for the Premier League. And 2-1. Falkirk could have snatched a point. Davy Sinclair, but Derek Collins nodding clear.
It's not all over. We just have to keep reaching for that finishing line. You know, we have to keep reaching for it. It's not all over, and I won't allow them to think it's over. But we've certainly put ourselves in an extremely good position.
I thought the application was first class. You know, we closed them down quickly and played some great football. And I felt the first half were a better side, and I felt the second half were a better side. And they got their second goal really all against a run of play, and they scored their first goal about 12 minutes injury time in the first half. So if it's your day, it's your day, and that seems to be the case. And I think the 3 times I've played them, we've been every bit as good as Hibernian, but obviously it was their day today.
I thought Marinkov looked quite good. I thought he did quite well. His legs are maybe a bit fresher than Frank Sosi is at the moment, who needs to find his feet. He found the game extremely fast. The tight pitches, I say, people getting close to him, and but he showed some nice touches, and once we get him fully fit, then I'm sure there's a lot better to come from Frank.
C'est différent de la France, c'est sûr, mais c'est un football total où les joueurs s'engagent pendant 90 minutes et ça me plaît.
He said that it's totally different from France, and he likes because people fight for 90 minutes on the pitch, and he likes.
Well,
Easter Road bandwagon heading towards the Premier League next season. Within 5 minutes, everything seemed to be going according to plan, and Glenn Hurst is upended in the box by Paul Lubbering, penalty kick. No doubts about the award. And up stepped Ian Ferguson to make it 1-0 to the honest men. One good turn deserves another, and when Stevie Crawford latches on to McGinley's long ball, the ensuing battle results in a penalty from Mark Campbell's pull on the Hibs striker's waist. The referee ideally positioned to see the offence, and the pain of a yellow card for Campbell was further added to by Crawford's spot kick conversion seconds later. 1-1. Former Hibs star Andy Milne almost gifted his former teammates a 2-1 lead with a poor pass which Justin Skinner received gratefully before dispatching it towards goal. The visitors may have missed out on that occasion, but on-form striker Stevie Crawford made no mistake a minute from half-time, much to the delight of the huge travelling support. 2-1 to Hibs at the break. Ayr United goalkeeper David Castilla was the man of the second half, denying Hibs on countless occasions. Frenchman Frank Sosi trying his luck again from long range, with Ayr keeper up to the task. Ayr by now were very much on the back foot, with Hibs determined to kill them off. Latapi and Lavetti all stopped by Castilla. Hibs could have won this by a more comfortable scoreline had it not been for the Ayr goalkeeper. Lavetti looks odds on to net from close range. but again Castilla amazed all before him with another class save. The inevitable did come about, however, in the 77th minute, and again it was that man Crawford who netted his first senior hat-trick and Hibs' third of the day. 3-1 to Hibs and only a few more points to go, and mathematical entry to the Premier League will almost certainly be achieved.
Stevie, first hat-trick for Hibs?
Yep, first for Hibs and my first in senior football. I've scored a few in pre-season games, but it was a nice feeling to have done it in a competitive game.
And even nicer in the fact that Hibs are top of the league and the 3 points, once again, very important for you today.
Yep, it's great to come down to a place like Ayr who are challenging for the league and winning and taking away the 3 points. We just have to make sure that we go on and win the next few weeks.
Well, it's been 2 good wins for you. It was Falkirk away last week, it's been Ayr United away. You do have Airdrie and Hamilton coming up. Are you confident that, you know, another couple of wins, another couple of weeks and the league will be wrapped up?
Well, I don't know until it's mathematically impossible for other teams to catch us. You never want to say the league's won. But we know that we've got a few hard games coming up. Airdrie will come to us and give us a hard game. And Hamilton are battling for their life's relegation. So we know that we'll have to go and match aim for effort.
Being Ken, and it